So, what are the best games of 2022? Let's find out. For this list, I'm taking the Metacritic's ratings, but with a twist. The twist is I'm also taking into consideration the player scores as well, because the players' opinions matter too. So what I'm doing, I'm taking both of them and averaging them to give them a grand total score. If a game is released on multiple platforms and have multiple ratings, I am taking this into consideration too and averaging them as well. But before we begin, only 93% of you are subscribed. Come on people, hit that subscribe button. Coming up in the number 10 spot on this list with a rating of 83 is Atari 50, the Anniversary Collection, released for Switch in November 2022, and honestly, I was really surprised to see this collection make the top 10, but here it is. Atari 50, the Anniversary Collection is just that, a collection of about 90 playable games that have come from the past 50 years of gaming. Not only does this collection feature games, it also is equipped with designers, developers, and industry leaders' interviews, product design, and also documentary footage and artwork as well. This is a great purchase for anyone who has a deep love for gaming and a great addition to this list. Coming in at the number 9 spot, we actually have a two-way tie, both with a rating of 84, so let's check them both out. First up is Rogue Legacy 2, released for Xbox Series X in April 2022. Rogue Legacy 2 is an action RPG platformer by developers Cellar Door Games. This game is much like the previous Rogue Legacy with its ever-changing characters and runs, but with even more upgrades and dead heirs. Spend your family inheritance and make sure your legacy lives strong through your children, in which every single one is unique. Sounds like an intriguing game to me. Also in at the number 9 spot, we have The Legend of Heroes Tales from Zero for PC, released in September 2022 by developers Falcom. The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero is a Japanese-style RPG where the main character is Lloyd Bannings, which he follows his late brother's footsteps and joins the local police department and helps the local people in need. But he has no idea about the dark underbelly of the society that waits for him in the shadows. Coming in at the number 8 spot on this list with a score of 84.8 is Neon White, which was released for Switch and PC in June 2022. Neon White is a first-person arcade shooter from developers Ben Esposito and Angel Matrix. Neon White takes you on an adventure of expelling demons from heaven, where you play as White, who is a hand-picked assassin from hell to expel demons for an eternal spot in heaven. So this sounds like a great title, so go out and get your hands on it. Coming in on the number 7 spot on this list is one of the biggest and most anticipated games of 2022. And to be honest, I'm very surprised it is this low on this list, and it is Elden Ring. Elden Ring is an adventure RPG game created from the creator of the hugely influential Dark Souls series, as well as George R.R. Martin, the author of the widely acclaimed Game of Thrones series. So with these two powerhouses in the mix, I am still quite shocked that Elden Ring made it so low in this list, but do you know what made it so low? Most of the user and player scores were abysmal in comparison to the critic rating, ranging from a shocking rating of 69 out of 100 to the highest 78 out of 100. It really is a pity though, because every person I know that has played the game says it's remarkable. So if you disagree with your fellow user rating, go and rate this game yourself and help it out. Coming in at the number 6 spot on this list is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition that dropped for PlayStation 5 in December of 2022. And it doesn't really surprise me that this game has made it on this list at all. The Witcher 3 originally released back in 2015 and has been a solid name in gaming ever since. The complete edition, you still play as Geralt of Rivia, the monster slayer, in over 100 hours of adventure across the landscapes, which include both of the expansion games Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, which is an extra 50 hours by itself. It's no wonder why this title made it on this list, and if you haven't played it yet, I highly recommend doing so. Coming in at number 5 on this list, and one of my personal favorite games on this list for me at least, is God of War Ragnarok by developers Sony Santa Monica, which was released in November of 2022. God of War Ragnarok is a continuation of God of War 2018 in the realm of Norse mythology, during Fimbulwinter, the winter to end all winters. We follow Kratos, Atreus, and many other characters on their adventure through the 9 realms. And once again, I am shocked that God of War Ragnarok is not higher on this list. But once again, it was not the critics who gave it the low score, but the players themselves. Critics gave this game a 94, which is amazing, but the players only gave it a 79, which honestly I thought was a little harsh. But what do you all think of God of War Ragnarok only reaching number 5? In at the number 4 spot on this list, it seems like we kind of have a little bit of an anomaly, because we have a 3-way tie, all coming in with a score of 87 out of 100. So, once again, let's check them out. In no particular order, first up we have Xenoblade Chronicles 3, released on Switch in July 2022 by developers Monolith Soft. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is an action RPG that takes the player into the future of the previous games, and into the world of 2 warring and hostile nations. 6 characters from the nations will take center stage in this game, with the subject of life as its central theme. Next up at number 4, we have Cuphead, The Delicious Last Course, which was released in June of 2022 by developers Studio MDHR. Cuphead, The Delicious Last Course is a run-and-gun game that takes the appeal of cartoons made in the 1930s, where Cuphead and his brother Mugman are joined by Miss Chalice in an all-new adventure on Inkwell Isle with brand new weapons, charms, and abilities. This would be a great purchase for anyone who enjoyed the previous Cuphead games. And last up in the number 4 spot is the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Edition, released in April 2022 by developers Crows and Galactic Cafe. The Ultra Deluxe Edition of this game is the expanded version of a highly popular indie game released in 2013. The game still follows Stanley in all of his choices that was present in 2013, but the Ultra Deluxe Edition includes more choices, new content, and even more secrets to uncover. If you're a fan of the original Stanley Parable series, this sounds right up your alley. Coming in at the number 3 spot on this list is Persona 5 Royale, initially released in 2019 but in October of 2022 released on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC by developers Atlus. Persona 5 Royale is a Japanese-style RPG, and of course based in the same universe as the previous Persona titles. In Persona 5 Royale, the protagonist of the game has to save the others from their own distorted desires by using a mask of a phantom thief. The player will be able to become the ultimate phantom thief and unleash their hidden powers within. Coming in at the number 2 spot of this list, we have another tie, but only between 2 games this time. First up in no order is Dwarf Fortress, originally released all the way back in 2006. This remodeled and revised version of Dwarf Fortress was released for PC in December of 2022 by developers Bay 12 Games, and people are really getting behind this. Dwarf Fortress takes place in a simulated world where the player must create a fortress, go figure, to stand against many different simulated enemies. Yeah, I can see how you could get easily addicted to this one. Also in at the number 2 spot on this list is Portal, the Campaign Collection, released on Switch in June of 2022 by developers Valve Software. Portal, the Campaign Collection is just that, basically Portal 1 and Portal 2 in a collection. But there is more. Valve Software also included extra maps, developer commentary, and even 2 new characters for co-op play. If Portal or Portal 2 was one of your games that you could not get enough of, Portal the Campaign Collection sounds like it would be great for you as well. Before we get to the number 1 spot on this list, here are a few honorable mentions. Okay, it is time to unveil which game claims the number 1 spot on this list. And claiming the number 1 spot are 2 titles, both highly rated for both critics and players. First up, and in no particular order, in the #1 spot is Chained Echoes, developed by Matthias Linda and released on just about all platforms in December of 2022. Chained Echoes is an RPG where a group of heroes travel around the lands of, I'm not exactly how to pronounce it, but Valandis, it's going to be on the screen right here, to bring an end to the war between three kingdoms. And the continent is filled with a crazy amount of diverse terrain, such as forgotten dungeons, beautiful island chains, and sunken cities. Now, some critics have been giving this game very bad reviews, saying it is uneven and has a very bad story as well. But other critics and players have said the complete opposite, saying it is a retro-style masterpiece. My suggestion, go play this title and see what you think. And the last game on this list, and also tied for the #1 spot, is God of War 2018, developed by Sony Santa Monica and released for PC in January 2022. Now, to be completely honest, I am absolutely overjoyed that this one made it so high on this list, because this game is absolutely amazing. God of War 2018 follows the story of Kratos and his son Atreus as they take the ashes of Kratos' dead wife and Atreus' mother, Faye, to the highest peak in all the realms. On their journey, they will fight Valkyries, swarms of enemies, and even take on some Norse gods. But this game has to be experienced first person, so if you have time to pick up this game, please do so because it is worth the playthrough, or 10 of them. This was the best video games of 2022. Did you agree with this list, or did you have some of your favorite games from 2022 not make this list? Tell me in the comments down below, and if you like this video, take a look at this one right here, and have a good night. Take care.